Thanks for tuning into the BoshNRoll channel. Liking and subscribing the channel is free and easy, and it helps me out a lot. If you want to go a little farther with your support, I have Patreon and YouTube membership available, which includes access to the BoshNRoll Discord server, early access to things I'm working on, sideboard plans, cards I'm buying. You could have me play your deck on the channel, and the highest tiers come with individual coaching sessions. If you use the YouTube membership option, you get sweet, unique YouTube badges and emotes for the channel. If you want to play what I'm playing, you can use the code BoshNRoll to support my channel while you shop for cards at tcgplayer.com. And if you're playing on Magic Online, a cardhoarder.com loan account can let you play any deck anytime. If you want to wear your support, there is BoshNRoll merch available. All of these links are in the video description below. Thank you so much for watching. Now let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I am playing Modern, and this is at the request of Patreon subscriber Foxicon. Foxicon gave me a dealer's choice. They just wanted to see some Modern, and I scoured the list for something cool that I haven't seen before, that I haven't played before. And I found that Aspiringspike had put up a couple of different 5-0s with Temur Reclamation, which is super exciting. This deck, if you weren't playing Standard 2 years ago, kind of ruined the Standard format. A lot of people are calling for a Wilderness Reclamation ban. This is a 4-mana enchantment that at the beginning of your end step, untap all lands you control. And in that format, there weren't a lot of great ways to interact with an enchantment. There weren't a lot of ways to interact at instant speed, except the ones that this deck were using. And this was just a combo control deck that really overwhelmed the rest of the format. Famously, I made the decision at the Wilderness Reclamation Pro Tour to play mono white aggro. That tournament didn't go well for me. I am a big buffoon for making that choice, but I'm going to try to rectify it here. Wilderness Rec with a bunch of things that are instants. Removal, instant, Lightning Bolt, Unholy Heat. Your Preordain is an instant, Counterspell, Icefang Coatl, Growth Spiral. Growth Spiral was also in that standard format, so Wilderness Rec frequently came down on turn 3. Archmage Charm, that was never standard legal. Memory Deluge, we got this double dig through time now. 4 Shark Typhoon, put that directly into my veins. Even your lands are in on the business. You got the Ketria Triumph that can cycle, you got Castle Vantress that can scry, and the end game is Nexus of Fate, which you can cast sometimes multiple times in a turn once you're really digging through your deck. There's only one Nexus in this deck, unlike the 4 that were in the standard and historic versions, so it's a little bit different. You're not really digging for an end game where you are literally taking all the turns, it's just a tool that's available. And ultimately, this is a Yorion deck, which lets you blink your Abundant Growth, Omen of the Sea, Icefang Coatl, all the things that let you draw more cards. And since it's a Yorion deck, the sideboard is just 4-ofs, 3 4-ofs, and a 2-of. And that gets you to 15 cards. Because there's 80 cards in this deck, and you're less likely to see any given sideboard card, really stacking up the sideboard with specific things that answer specific problems makes a lot of sense. This is pretty much just a classic control deck. A lot of removal, counter spells, and some planeswalkers to gain value. We're going to take our time and just grind people into the dust with this. That's the plan. Let's try it out. I'm on the draw in the first round. I'm going to keep this hand. There's no removal, but there is a lot of acceleration and card draw. So I'm in for this. I'm going to fetch a basic forest and put Abundant Growth on it on turn 1. And then I'll Growth Spiral. It's just a growth tribal deck. And hopefully my 2 draw steps plus 2 cantrips will get me into something good to do with my 4 mana that I'll have on turn 3. Boring. Getting hit by Ragavan already. It will draw Lightning Bolt. It's fine. It's not a huge deal to take a couple hits from Ragavan, I don't think. Put Abundant Growth here. Collecting Pool. Okay. All my mana is well set up. I don't need more lands though, deck. Ragavan connects and exile to Hinterland Harbor. Thank you, Ragavan. Didn't want that anyway. Ooh, they're a Jeskai version of this. I am not going to Growth Spiral on my own turn, which frequently, a lesson from that standard format, Growth Spiral resolving is more important than being clever about it. So you did frequently Growth Spiral in your main phase just to make sure it actually resolved. I'm going to do this now. Before they see the Ragavan card, before they have a treasure to spend. If they are going to counter it, I want them to use their own mana in their main phase and have to think about it a little bit. Exile to Wooded Foothills. All right. Ragavan has just been 4 damage, 2 mana. No actual card advantage, and I will take that as a giant W right now. Aggressive iteration. They still have their land drop, and they have these treasures to spend. I could fetch now. Like the choice there was use my fetch land to protect my information, but I don't think I actually care about that very much. Do I want Ketria Triumphs in my deck? I don't have the wreck yet, so I am just going to get the best mana here. If I can find clean removal for Rag here, that would be great. Nope, another Ketria Triumph. Not a huge deal. I could steal Ragavan. They have 2 treasures up for counterspell. Unfortunate. I could also wait a turn, hold up counterspell for a turn, and then next turn, Archmage Charm with counter backup. Yeah, I think I'm into that. I'm going to play a fetch land and pass. If they do something I need to respond to, I'll counterspell it. If they don't, I'll cycle Ketria Triumph. And they just bobbled me, but I'll fetch before I draw that card, probably. I would feel pretty good about this hand still if they didn't have this particularly aggressive 1-drop. Okay, they got Shark Typhoon that they actually could cast if they have a land drop. You can't cycle Shark Typhoon off Ragavan, which is a small relief. Also pretty bummed. Shark Typhoon would have been a great card for me to get. Oh, they knew that was there from the bobble. Okay. Scour themselves. They just milled DRC and Rag. Wonder if they're going for a... Do I need to counter that? If I counter this, then Murktide Regent resolves. Okay. I'm gonna fetch and then cycle Ketria Triumph. I'm gonna fetch the other one, because I don't want to draw these. I do want spells and action. Nope, another land. Memory Deluge. Alright, yeah, we're pretty far behind on this situation right now. I'm gonna have to make a move. I can't just take 5. And the Ragavan mana really is adding up. Even if they haven't gotten a single card off of it, just doubling their mana that they would otherwise have is a big deal. At the beginning of combat, I'm going to gain control of DRC. They have 2 counter spells. I'm just going to lose. But if they don't, that's good news for me. I'm going to let them mill their card before I counter back. They milled a Murky Rage, which means they have another one. But we knew that already. Counter back. And counter back. And because of all of the treasures, they can still deploy Murktide Regent this turn. There's not a Wrath in this deck, so I'm definitely not winning this one. At 6, they exiled another Reflecting Pool. There's the Marco. What can I draw? I could string together like 3 Icefang Coatls, maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4. Didn't even find a single Icefang Coatl, so I will concede this game. And I only had the mana to cast 1, but like technically if their hand is completely empty somehow, Icefang Coatl could block Murktide Regent. I go to 1 because I'd have to fetch a basic. Yeah, just being under the gun. I think if that was even Dragon's Rage Channeler instead of Ragavan, I think that game is playable. But it was not. I like Engineered Explosives, I like Endurance. I like all the removal, of course. Coatl's great. I'm not convinced I need Nexus in this matchup. I'm like gonna be winning or I'm not, pretty much. Wilderness Wreck is a card that can be trimmed on, though I think I'm gonna need to overwhelm this opponent if I'm gonna beat them. Brennan 6 seems like a dirty joke, because I just had so many lands anyway, but it does ping Ragavan. This is tricky. I just want all the cards in my deck. Nexus is definitely cuttable. I can shave a Wilderness Wreck. That's not a card you really want to draw 2 of, though it's not like bad. But I want all of my removal. I want everything that could find me removal. Is Memory Deluge too slow here? But like that is really how I take over a mid game. And then 6 is good. Counterspell's fine. Maybe Counterspell's not that good. But I do need to answer Murktide Regent somehow, and that's basically the only way I do it. I have the Archmage Charm too, of course. Okay, I'm only going to bring in 3 Endurance because I can't figure out what else to cut. This is tough. This is a tight deck. I'm sure Aspiringspike has some videos of him playing these leagues. He does stream most of his playing. So if you do want to study what he is doing in these matchups, you can go do that. Real Yorion, and I'm going to keep this hand. This is actually a good one. Look at these red spells. Not present in the last round at all. I'm going to play Island and pass, and then I can Hinterland Harbor, put Abundant Growth on Island, and then Bolt next turn. There's the Ragavan. Hopefully they don't heads up force a negation this. All right, didn't happen. I guess I should Bolt this thing now. Like, they could go land dash, but they could also go land counterspell. So either way, it's... But if they land dash, then they have to commit 2 mana every turn to rag in the future. Just not a great deal. Uh-oh. Opposite problem of last game is occurring. If I Unholy Heat this and they Thought Scour in response, there's a good chance my Heat doesn't work. Alright. I'm going to cast this Coatl in the main phase and just try to draw a land. Whoops. It's alright, I'm still interacting. Unholy Heat, mill to land. Like, that's a 2-for-1. I'll take it. Bobble, that's going to give them Delirium. Bobbled me, and now they're going to attack for 3. I have Endurance at some point to turn this sort of thing off. They shock that in, so they're representing Counterspell or Murktide Regent. Right, it's Counterspell. Got some lands. Alright, sweet relief. This lets me cast Endurance. Could also spend a turn trying to sculpt, like hit my land drops. I don't know if jamming Endurance into Counterspell is where I want to be, but maybe I do. I'm going to fetch. I think I can get Basic Forest. Maybe that should have been an island. Yeah, that definitely should have been an island because of all my triple blue spells. I'm actually just going to take these beats. I'm going to spend the turn Growth Spiraling. If I spiral into a land, I can also Omen of the Sea. Yikes. Okay. Blue-green. Spiral. Lightning Bolt. Okay. At least that is a card I can cast. I'll bolt that thing. I should have let them surveil first, so they didn't know if they would still have this creature or not. And they made that decision. Flusterstorm. Cool. Okay. I'm not going to pay. Obviously. They milled 2 lands. Teferi's in play. They have 1 card left in their hand, though. Very plussed. I have 3 card types in my graveyard. I could just cast Endurance right now, hit them, and that turns off Murky Reach for a turn and shrinks this thing. I think that is better than other options, and they can't counter it right now. I'm just going to main phase Endurance. Put your graveyard away. Teferi's kind of a nightmare. I am 1 card type away from Unholy Heat being on, which can roast the Teferi, which I could cycle Shark Typhoon and just get there on that. Expressive Iteration, last card in their hand. They milled a 2nd Expressive Iteration. That's weird. I would think from this position you want maximum card selection and availability, but they must have a different plan. If the last card in their hand is Murktide Regent, it makes sense to put literally anything in the graveyard. Just doesn't matter if it's Expressive Iteration, doesn't matter if it's like fucking Black Lotus, you just put it in the graveyard. Exiled Spire, Bluff Canal. A plus Teferi again. Okay. Another Unholy Heat. Okay, I'm gonna cycle Shark Typhoon for 0. That gives me 4 card types in the graveyard. Maybe I'll hit a land drop even. Hey, I hit a land drop. Okay, let's see if the first Unholy Heat resolves. And then I know if I need to shock in the Steam Vents or not. If they spend a counterspell on this, that's actually pretty great. Because I have another one lined up. Cool. I am not going to shock in the other one. I'm also not going to attack. They're too close to Delirium to try to race them. And their deck's better at racing. If nobody's attacking, that favors me. Okay, they have Path to Exile. Cool. Yeah, I'll take an extra land. I love getting Path to Exiled in games where I was mana screwed. Okay, they just found Delirium Murktide Regent will be 1, 2, 3. They can make it 7, which is pretty scary. If the one card in their hand is the Murktide Regent, which is the read that I had, then it is out of Unholy Heat range. Okay, my read was wrong. That's good news. I love being wrong. I can Wilderness Wreck. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wilderness Wreck. That's on the stack. How we doing? Cool. Resolved. Okay, I'm going to fetch Ketria Triome. Get that into play because it is going to untap immediately. In the end step, Wilderness Wreck triggers. I'll float red. Untap my lands. Cast Omen of the Sea. Coatl counterspell, yup. Top. And then I don't really need to react with any of this other stuff. Like Coatl has the touch. I can just get in there. Expressive Iteration. Is this where I want to react? Or do I want to fight over the payoff? I think I want to at least Coatl right now. Because Dragon's Rage Channeler has to attack. I'm gonna let Iteration resolve. It's kind of a squeeze because I'm worried about Murktide Regent, which, if it's a card in their hand, countering the iteration is a mistake, but if they don't have it in their hand and they're iterating into it, then I kind of wish I had countered the iteration. All right, I'm gonna kill DRC here. Not interested in taking more damage from this. Okay, they're countering my Unholy Heat. All right, yeah, I'm just getting fancy. If I don't counter their counterspell, like I could counter their Lightning Bolt and block, but that's just getting fancy for no reason. Let's see if their last card in hand is the Flusterstorm. Okay, cool. Board is empty, but I have Wilderness Wreck and Shark Typhoon, and they don't. This is the game we're trying to play. So put Yorion in hand easy. And I think I'm just going to make a Giant Shark in the end step. End step, float 3, untap. They've shown me Teferi, which is kind of a reason not to go this hard, but if they have any red-based removal, I just want the biggest shark. I can make a 7, which is out of Unholy Heat range. This one white source they have is pretty scary. Okay, it is Murktide Regent, which is an 8/8. And DRC, and they're Hellbent. Cool. I am not going to sack my Omen because I want that to be blinked by Yorion. I can attack for 7. I can make another Shark Typhoon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can actually cast Shark Typhoon, which is not a play that I normally make. But this isn't really a normal deck. How about I draw 2 cards and then make decisions? Okay, here's Yorion, who will blink Abundant Growth and Omen. Then I'm going to go to my end step. Stack Yorion first, so I draw cards and know what colors I need to float, if any. Oh, just 3 lands off the top here from all of those things. I'll float red, untap, and bolt DRC. Right. I can gang up on this Murktide Regent. I have a clean double block on board, and they don't even know about the second Shark Typhoon. No attack. Love to see it. I can make a 4/4 shark now, or I can make a giant shark in my next end step, and I can scry 2 now. I think I'm gonna scry. Good scry. Get those lands out of here. Other engineered explosives, not exactly what the doctor ordered. I'm gonna make another world's biggest shark. The shark is gonna be a 12/12 if I can count correctly, which is always up for debate. I did it. Okay, 12/12 shark. Exciting stuff. Renin 6 does go off with Ketria Triome and Wilderness Wreck. Get to regrow. Draw a card every turn, basically. Okay, opponent's seen enough. We got over the hump. I don't think, like, we've seen Flusterstorm out of them. I don't think that's an important part of my plan, though. Like, I think countering Murktide Regent is the important part of my plan. And just being alive into that point of the game. I'm just going to submit the same deck again. Probably should have tried to find room for the 4th Endurance. Endurance was just central to my functioning in that game. I'm going to keep this. See if they're 3 for 3 on turn 1 rags. They're spending mana. Please be Dragon's Rage Channeler. Bauble. It's not Dragon's Rage Channeler because they would have bobbled for, or they would have played that first. Yep, Ragavan. Okay. I have Coatl. I can block this thing at some point. Hopefully sooner than later. Growth. I can curve Coatl into Endurance and present blockers over several turns. Yep, begin the pain. They took a Coatl from me. They can spend their treasure to cast that and draw a card. Does not appear to be the plan. They're scouring themselves. Are they just going for the world's fastest Murktide Regent? Youch. That's disgusting. Okay. Well, that's going to be tough to beat. Oh, if I were really super heads up, in response to the fetch, I could have pitched Endurance. Like, the only reason to take that line, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I'm being results-oriented, getting ahead of myself. Okay, how do I win this game? Coatl has to trade with something. Can I afford to take 7? I go to 10. I develop my board with Growth Spiral. I think I'm going to Spiral. Just don't think I'm winning this game if Coatl doesn't trade with Murktide Regent. And I didn't have 2 snow permanents there. Or I didn't have 3. God, they took my Wrenn and 6. Okay. Yeah. Maybe I have to mulligan to a hand that can kill Ragavan. Maybe it's just non-negotiable. They had turn 1 Rag all 3 games, and they won the die roll, so they were on the play 2 of those games. And that really is just, like, everything. Definitely willing to believe I misevaluated how much time I had here. The turn 2 Murktide Regent also was, that was something. I'm going to fetch Ketria Triome. I'm dead on board anyway. Might as well have perfect mana. Okay, so they have 4 cards in their hand. If those cards are anything at all, I lose. I basically need to fetch my 3rd Snow Basic. Oh god, they have Lightning Bolt. Okay, so I need to fetch my 3rd Snow Basic, resolve Icefang Coatl, draw another Icefang Coatl, and they can't have removal for any of it, and they can't have Bolt in their 4-card hand because that kills me. Okay, let's begin the adventure. Icefang Coatl. Resolves. Block. Fetch. I'm at 1 on board. And exiled Shark Typhoon. That's not helpful. Yeah, easy. Easy Lightning Bolt. Okay. Yeah, I think I needed to mulligan game 3. And the Ragavan into the quick Murktide Regent was just rough. Okay. Next round. I'm on the play in the second round. I'm going to keep this hand with the turn 2 Wrenn and 6. Again, this one's not super interactive, but Wrenn and 6 might not have to be. Like, this does kill Ragavan or DRC if they have that on turn 1. I just Wrenn ping. Okay. Scalding Tarn. I have to fetch a source of Ketria Triumph. I'm just like trying to decide what dual land I want, but it's actually just Ketria Triumph. I'm going to get basic forest off of this. There is no basic mountain. That is the way in which Wrenn and 6 is cast off of Prismatic Vista. I should have rebought Prismatic Vista, though. I'm probably going to be fetching basics from here, like islands. But okay. Oh, is this a mirror? Ketria Triumph action. If it is a mirror, then they did not have their own Wrenn, which I will take as a blessing. I'm going to play Foothills, and I'm just going to plus on the Vista. I can Growth Spiral. If they Growth Spiral, I will Spiral in response. They did not Growth Spiral. Okay. What are they up to over there? Another Triome. All right, I'm going to fetch and then Spiral. Or I should Spiral first. In case I draw a spell I want to cast. Like a Omen of the Sea or a second Growth Spiral. I don't want to fetch a tapped land until I know that that's what I want. Remand. Okay, sure. Now I can fetch a tapped land. Get another Triome. The 3rd one I'll leave in the deck. Unless I draw it. Blue-green. I'm going to Spiral now. Nice. Land. There's 2 islands left in the deck. Okay. I'm going to plus Wrenn. And pass the card with 7. Pass the turn with 7 cards in hand. Feels good. Remand is kind of weird, though. Remand goes in tempo decks, And for a tempo deck, they certainly haven't done anything with their first 4 mana. I'm going to fetch in my upkeep, because if I fetch in the end step, that leaves my Archmage Charm shields down, and I'm not fetching for a shockland anyway, so I don't need to worry about the end step situation. I'm going to play Misty Rainforest this time, and discard the Vista to hand size. They are a Growth Spiral deck, okay. That makes some sense. I wonder if they are, like, Bring to Light Scapeshift, or some blue Scapeshift deck. Either way, Ren is ready to pop. Growth Spiral with Retrace. Just go off. Shred through your deck. Feels good. Snapcaster Mage. I don't think I'm going to fight over that card. Can snap Growth Spiral. My plan is a big shark this turn anyway. Or maybe Memory Deluge is better than a big shark. Though my hand, I already discarded a hand size once. I'm not sure that Deluge is where I want to be. So locking up a second counterspell is pretty nice. Sakura Tribuilder. This is definitely a Scapeshift deck. I'm not fighting over Sakura Tribuilder. I won't do it. I guess if I Deluge, I can fetch a Shockland here. Yeah, I definitely want a Deluge, actually, because if I find the wreck, that's actually what I'm looking for in my life. Yeah, there we go. Wilderness Wreck, Hinterland Harbor. That's what I actually wanted. And then Hinterland Harbor, Wilderness Wreck with protection. They did not have Force of Negation. I can Ultimate Ren. Yeah, that sounds pretty fucked. Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna Ultimate Ren. I have a bunch of lands in my hand. I'm about to start drawing millions of cards. Let's see what this end step looks like. I'm not wishing for Yorion here. That just doesn't do anything I need it to. Okay, so mana floating. I'm gonna discard a land to Growth Spiral. Put Hinterland Harbor into play. And then I have another mana floating, Growth Spiral again. And I'm actually not going to put that land into play in case I need it to retrace with. I'm not going to lose to these 3 power beats. I have Shark Typhoons in my hand. There's stuff going on here. I'm not going to Shark here, because if I tap to make a Shark and then they Scapeshift second main, I'm just a big dummy. But I can Shark right now. I could have also Flashback Memory Deluge, but that's really bad against Remand, while Shark Typhoon is insane against Remand. Okay, True Counterspell for turn. That's a good one. I'm just going to attack. I'm winning this race. My end step, I'm going to float all my mana. I'm going to make another big shark. How much mana do I need? So 1, 2, 3 for Archmage Charm, 1, 2, 3 for Archmage Charm, 1, 2 for a Counterspell. So I can put 1 more into the Shark Typhoon. Could have also left up Bolt and made it a 7/7 shark instead of an 8/8 shark. But 8 plus 5 is 13, and that's their life total. Okay. Triple Counterspell up. They're dead on board. They're going for the Sakura Tribuilder. They know it's time. They're not going to win through combat. Is it Charm to draw 2, discard 2? Yeah. That's wasted mana on this critical turn. For a Spiral, don't care. They're not even close to enough mountains to Natty Valakut and start shooting, so that doesn't matter. They played their land tapped. Okay, so I just attack for 13 and you die. Don't even think I need to send the Bolt upstairs in the end step. Maybe that land was better as a retrace. Something. I didn't actually count before I just slammed my land drop. But here's 13 damage. They're tapping mana, but they have 3 cards in their hand, and I have 3 counterspells in mine. So I don't know what they could do that gets through this. And they just shocked in a land. Is this Cryptic Command to bounce my bigger shark? I could let this happen and then just kill them with Bolt, but I'll be generous and just cast the counterspell. Because Bolt, Retrace Bolt is also lethal if the 5/5 connects. No reason to showboat, though. That felt pretty good. We're basically the same deck, we've just chosen a different 4-mana green win condition. Is Flusterstorm something I want here? Like, if the game comes down to a big fight over Escape Shift, then I do want Flusterstorm. Here's this Nexus not looking very good again. Ren, I think, was a defining part of that game. Unholy Heat. I don't know if they're gonna like juke into a creature strat, but I'll shave some of my removal. Boarded out half my removal, still have 2 removal spells in the opener. Not sure this is a good hand. I'm gonna mulligan it. Oop, this one's worse. Opponent's also on 6 though. Maybe they'll go to 5 with me. I will definitely keep this 5. I'm gonna send... Are lands or spells more important here? I think I'm gonna send definitely Counterspell. Maybe I'll just send Growth Spiral. Because like the Growth Spiral is just a 2-mana cantrip. It's just like 2 mana Peer Through Depths, or not Peer Through Depths, Reach Through Myths. I don't know. Whatever shitty 1 mana draw card is. When you don't have extra lands to play, and because I mulled to 5, there are no extra lands to play. I'll just hit my land drops normal. That was a good one. Gonna fetch in the end step and hope I don't get Shadow of Doubted. Ketria Triome. Make sure everything is set up right. Okay, cool. Now I'm holding up Counterspell. I can Omen. I'm not gonna counter a Growth Spiral here though. Oh, they're just trying to coast snappy cast me. That's not gonna work, but okay. I can take a little bit of damage from that while I get set up. Take my 2 here. I'm gonna fetch a basic and cast Omen. I don't need to bolt this thing right away. They might try to remand and whatever, but okay, cool. They didn't try to do that. Land is good. I like Flusterstorm too. Yeah, let's just keep them both. Top. Play the land. If nothing else happens, I can bolt Snapcaster in this end step. Like if they don't do anything that requires my attention. I'll take the beats first. And then I'll interact in the end step. I don't want to tap mana when they still have a main phase to do stuff in. Lightning Bolt still in the deck. Surprise. And I'll fetch another Triome here. Ooh. That's saucy. I'm not going to slam that into an open board, though. Or am I? What are they going to do about it? Oh, Cryptic Command. Yeah, I'll wait till I have 1 more mana. Like, what are they going to do about it? Just the best counterspell ever printed. That's definitely in their deck because we've seen it. And they are representing with their mana. I think this is a Omen of the Sea, Scry, end step. If I can get a 5th land and jam Wilderness Wreck and fluster their Cryptic, that's an interaction I'm extremely interested in. Even just getting the 5th land so I can start scrying with Castle Vantress is a big deal. I'm going to send both of these to the bottom. All I want are land drops right now. Yes. I'm going to fetch Basic Forest up front rather than have to shock something in. Dang. The great thing about tapping out for Wilderness Wreck is that if it resolves, you're not tapped out anymore. A squeaky little fluster on this Cryptic, just like we drew it up. Same target, same target. If they're a Force of Negation deck. If they are, it's still a 2 for 3, and I'm up on cards. I'd be a little surprised if they are a Force of Negation deck, though, because this is a deck that wants to operate on its turn. Like, Force of Negation and Remand just fundamentally don't really go in the same decks. Cool. Now, even if I spend my mana on nothing else, I can scry with Castle Vantress in my end step, and then untap all my lands, and just have better draws than them for the rest of the game. They drew a land for their turn. They hadn't played a land in a few turns, so playing a land now indicates that was their draw step. I'm fine with castling here, because even if they bounce Wilderness Wreck in the end step, that mostly doesn't matter. I'm going to top both of these, because I want the land drop. I also like the Omen, because I can Omen into the land in my main phase, then untap all my lands, doing it all with Counterspell backup. Don't think I want Unholy Heat. And now we move towards my end step. I could put Yorion in hand, or I could scry. Ooh, if I put Yorion in hand here, they could bounce Wreck while I'm tapped out and do something. So I'm not interested in that. Just gonna float a bunch of blue, untap my lands, and then scry 2 with my floating blue. Ren and 6 Breeding Pool. Okay, I'm gonna send Breeding Pool to the bottom. I do like Ren quite a lot. That completely changes the dynamic of what my opponent has to worry about and where this game is going. Just drawing 2 cards with Archmage Charm, that's fine. I know Ren's on top of my deck. I'm actually just going to draw Ren. Like, there's some small value to like scrying and seeing the next card down, whether I like it or not. But I'm going to see all those same cards when I scry anyway. And tapping out is always a little dangerous. Spiraling in response to Wrenn. Oh, they have their own Castle Vantress now. We're in the danger zone. Okay, Wrenn's in there. I'm going to regrow a Misty Rainforest. And I'm going to fetch now before I scry. Because fetching after you scry is a waste of a scry. Okay, the trigger is on the stack already, which means I think I am safe to scry 2 before the untap, which saves me a mana. It just risks they could act right now when I don't have floating mana, but I don't know what they would do because I'm about to untap anyway. But whatever they're doing, it's definitely a mistake to do it now. I was just tapped out with no mana. Unless they're trying to bait for counter spells, then that was a really good play. Shark Typhoon's on top of my deck. Just need to make sure I don't get burned out by Nickel and Dime Lightning Bolts. Veil of Summer, nah. That was a good check. That's a scary card for them to have. If their last 2 cards in hand are Scapeshift Counterspell, I'm dead here. Wish. Alright, they're making a wish. Gonna let that resolve. Okay, so counter target spell. If their last card in hand is also Scapeshift, I am officially empty, and my top card is Shark Typhoon. Is not going to really help in that situation. I could scry again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, I should Wrenn first. Get back my Misty Rainforest. I can scry into a counterspell and draw it with Shark Typhoon while leaving up counterspell mana this turn if I find all of the pieces to that puzzle. Scry 2 with Castle. Don't want those. Bottom, bottom. And then I can scry 2 again with Omen. Uh-oh. Bottom, bottom. We can go into my end step. Untap. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Scry. 1, 2, cycle. Yeah, I'm just going to have to YOLO this one. If they do jam Scapeshift onto the stack, I can cycle Shark Typhoon for a 2/2 Shark. Okay. Maybe I need to make a 0/0 Shark in case I Typhoon into Growth Spiral or Omen. Like, this is the whole game here. Alright, we're dead. I'll let them show me the Scapeshift. Yeah, that was cool. They just ran me out of cards. I didn't find a Memory Deluge or anything that would really help pull ahead, and I didn't have Wrenn running the whole game, which was a difference. Okay, they did have the requisite mountain still in the deck. I'll concede. Okay, the Unholy Heat and Lightning Bolt, I'm pretty thoroughly not excited about. At least the Unholy Heat. Nexus is kind of interesting, I guess. Or do I want Endurance to... Endurance does beat up on Snapcaster Mage, both in combat and in the function of Snapcaster Mage. Them having Veils, I need to respect. That means that I need to be able to put some damage on the board. I actually think Endurance is better than Lightning Bolt in a lot of different ways. I'm going in like this. This hand is very good. It's got Wrenn. I'm going to keep it. Every card in this hand generates card advantage. Safe to bet I would keep a hand like this most of the time. Going to lead on Basic Forest, Abundant Growth. They went to 6 cards. There's the wreck. Okay. It's a race to getting wrecked. You don't expect them to have Spell Snare in their deck, so I'm going to jam Wrenn right now. All the getting's good. Abundant Growth is cheating. Like, remember Arkham's Astrolabe? We had to ban that one. My Hinterland Harbor comes into play untapped, and then my Forest taps red. Oh, it's so pretty. Just good deck building. They shocked something in. Do they have Wrenn of their own, or is it Growth Spiral? Sakura Tribelder, you got it. Steve, the Tribelder. Oh, that was a really good draw. Okay. As usual. I think I want to fetch first. Leave my 5-color land up. I'll get an island. Use Wrenn to pick up Misty. Green, blue, Spiral on my turn. Cool. That feels good. Let's see if they're ramping up to 4 or if they are attacking. All right, yep, they are ramping. Don't currently have a counterspell available, but they're many lands away from Scapeshift being lethal. Luckily, Scapeshift is a deck with a 4-mana win condition that you can't actually just slam on turn 4. I'm going to Coatl in the end step, just keep my velocity moving forward. Coatl. They don't have blue mana up right now. I wonder if that was a mistake or if they just had to play it that way. But it's a good excuse to shove Wilderness Wreck into play. They could have like Wilt or some such nonsense. Naturalize of some variety, but they are tapped out of blue, and I'm going to try to punish them for it. Probably shouldn't have played this land. It doesn't fetch any basics that I care about. Do I even need red mana this game? Not really. I'll fetch Breeding Pool, get bashed for it. Wilderness Wreck, jam that into play. They tried to trick me with these basic lands that all look exactly the same, but I can see, I can read sometimes. Plus Ren again. Let's see if they have the disenchant. All right, they don't. I got to my end step. It means my stuff's untapped. I have a counterspell available. We're set up now. Their own Ren. Is that important to me? I don't think that's the axis I'm fighting on. I'm going to Endurance. I was probably going to Endurance anyway, but if I can deny them a land drop for free while I'm doing that, and that also puts lethal on Ren, if they have to spend a remand here. Okay, Veil literally doesn't do anything. I haven't cast a blue spell. Endurance isn't a blue or black card. Yeah, cool trick. Put your graveyard in your deck. At least I didn't try to counter Ren. That went well. There's a long, awkward pause right now. Are we going to get a shame concession? Okay, they're just passing the turn. Hell yeah, Endurance. Growth Spiral, cool. Okay, I'm going to kill Ren. That seems important. And then I'm going to fetch for another basic. There's 2 left. Then green, blue, Growth Spiral. Put Reflecting Pool into play. Ketria Triome is here to go off now with Ren. Abundant Growth, this. Island, draw an extra card. Cycle Ketria Triome. Cycle that. I'm going to pick Triome up with Ren. We're going to go to my end step and untap all my lands. I'm going to flash in Coatl because I had an extra mana floating around anyway. Might as well draw cards with it. Ren can ultimate next turn, and then I have Archmage Charm ×3 with the 3 lands in my hand. They Growth Spiraled twice and haven't played a land yet. Yeah, just Spyro, concede. In the Rug Growth Spiral mirror, the deck that hits its land drops is king, and I did that while they didn't this game. Thanks, Ren and 6. On to the next round. We're about halfway through the video, so let me just remind you that if you like this deck and you want to try it out, you can use the code BoshNRoll to support the channel while you shop for cards at tcgplayer.com, and you can play any deck anytime with cardhoarder.com loan account on Magic Online. These links are in the video description below. Now back to the league. I am on the draw in round number 3 with this dangerous hand that I'm going to mulligan because I am disciplined. It got worse. Okay, keep. Yikes. I think I'm going to send the Abundant Growth to the bottom because Coatl and C are also cantrips, and my mana is already perfect because my hand is double Triome. I think that makes sense to my brain. A Verdant Catacomb strategy without Luris. We got Overgrown Tomb in my end step. More Jund cards. Is this just Grandfather Jund? That was a good draw. Okay, cool. That lets me cast my creatures without taking damage off of a shock land, or my spells. They're not both creatures. Yeah, it's looking Jundy over there. They haven't cycled anything, so they're not Living End. They don't have Luris, so they're not Zoomer Jund. Just, am I going to get Liliana of the Veiled? Ooh, that sucks. But I will Omen in response. They can't take Wilderness Wreck, and I don't care that much about Coatl. Okay, I'm going to top. That keeps Abundant Growth on top. Can't take the Wilderness Wreck, so they have to take Coatl with this Inquisition, and then I get to Abundant Growth, and I'm threatening Reclamation on the following turn, even if they have Thoughtseize. Oh, I should have played Ketria Triumph. What am I doing? I was like so tunnel visioned on Abundant Growthing a basic that I forgot that I actually have a curve to maintain. All right, unpunished, drew an untapped land. It's actually better because now I get to cycle the Triome too. Play bad, get rewarded. Good chance we're facing down a Bloodbraid Elf this turn. In the way they've played this game so far, they must be building up to something. There she is. Hit Inquisition. They hit Wrenn and 6. That's a lot better than Inquisition. Okay, we're going to take 3 here. I'm going to jam a Wilderness Wreck and hope I draw a spell for my turn. Our engine is online on curve. It's just if it's enough to keep up with what they've been doing over there. And they didn't really do anything for the first several turns of the game, which indicates to me that their hand is full of top-end bangers. Okay, I do have Archmage Charm. Kind of hope I get to draw 2 cards with it rather than have to counter something. Well, I guess I'm drawing 2 cards. If I find a Bolt here, I can kill Bloodbraid. Alright, they just get to take a different charm. Liliana, okay. I am pretty well set up to fight Liliana. I don't need a second Wilderness Wreck. Though, this will squeeze the life out of me eventually. Or maybe the second Wilderness Wreck rules. Is it better than Reflecting Pool? Probably not. I do need more lands in play and more action before like the double untap becomes an exciting proposition. Memory Deluge. Hell yeah. That's a good card. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the type of card that can beat a Jund deck. Counterspell is slightly out of range at this point. Can I keep a card in my hand, I guess is the question. If I play Reflecting Pool, and then is Growth Spiral even good? I think I do need the Growth Spiral. I could Growth Spiral into Interland Harbor and still cycle Ketria Triumph, but then I'm a card behind there. I think I'm just going to take all the lands. I'll play Reflecting Pool, and in my end step, float blue, untap, make green, spiral. Oh, there's Wrenn. Do I want Wrenn? Oh, we'll see. Each player discards a card. I should probably cycle in response. Give myself some more options. Okay, I'm going to discard Wooded Foothills. They don't have a great follow-up. That's good. If they have a discard spell here, that's bad. Okay, I'm at 10. I'm about to put Wrenn and 6 into play. Oh, another Deluge. Nice. Red, green, Wrenn. Pick up. Do I want Ketria Triumph? I'm going to take Ketria Triumph. And I'm going to cast the Deluge in my hand. Icefang Coatl and Castle Vantress are good ones. Play Castle Vantress. And go to my end step. Float blue. Untap my shit. King Wrenn, okay. Did its job. Oh, they have more. Float blue. 1, 2. I'm gonna cycle Triome. Because if I can find Unholy Heat now, I can kill Wrenn before it's out of reach. This Omen is also pretty cool. Growth Spiral, not what I'm interested in. Splat. I can still do one more draw here. One more chance. Okay, another Coatl. Wrenn can ping Coatl. I don't know if they would really need or want to do that, though. I don't think they need to care about Coatl at all, honestly. Oh, Fatal Push. They did have a relevant spell left in their hand. Luckily, Wrenn Emblem isn't that good for them. Like Fatal Push, Inquisition, and Abrupt Decay are not really cards I care about. What I care about is the fact I'm at 7 life and this creature has still gone unanswered. They have 1 card left in their hand, though. And I'm about to start deluging from the graveyard, get the full dig through time. Oh, Unholy Heat. Welcome to the party. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Deluge. Shark Typhoon looks good. And Archmage Charm. Yeah, I think I want those two. I'll go to my cleanup step. Or not cleanup, untap. End step, whatever the fuck this is. And I think I want to heat the Liliana. You have 5 card types in the graveyard. Yeah, let's heat up Liliana. Ren can emblem, but that only matters if they have lands in their hand. And they won't have lands in their hand for very long. Oh, cool. Ren did an emblem. I can go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I can Typhoon for 4, which is bigger than Bloodbraid Elf. Bigger than Bolt. They didn't emblem pre-combat, so they can't Fatal Push. Or 4 creature. Alright, I got a block in. Yeah, Ren embleming here isn't even good. They did it, though. Like, they could Fatal Push. They could Inquisition me a little bit. But I'm pretty well set up at this point. They could Fatal Push my Shark. Alright, cool. Down to 1 card. Alright, I think we're pulling ahead here. That was a tight one. I'm going to Deluge from the graveyard in my main phase. If it finds a land, I can play that land this turn. I think I want the backup Deluge and Interland Harbor. I kind of do want to keep hitting land drops. All those removal spells, they don't have anything to remove. Float green, blue, Coatl here. Cool. Alright, I think we're stable. Ooh, Bloodbraid Elf. It's the most exciting draw in their deck. They revealed Inquisition of Kozilek. I could simply cast all of my 2-mana spells before they resolve that card. I'm going to go for that version of events. Coatl. Oh, right. Archmage Charm is still in my hand, too, so that's not even a real thing. I'm going to target player draws, too. Oh, wait, I can just counterspell the Inquisition, and I don't care about Bloodbraid Elf. Yeah, that's the play. My hand is much better, much more important than my board right now. Board's under control. Coatls even have Death Touch, because there are 2 of them. I can counter a Fatal Push, or I could just ignore it. If they spend their last card in hand to, like, take me off Death Touch, then that's fine. Okay, they are doing exactly that. Yeah, I don't care. I could Growth Spiral into a basic right now. I'm going to try that. That would be a sick line. Basic land. Ah, got him. Nice Fatal Push. Put your card in the graveyard, please. Then I can Growth Spiral again at the end step. That was awesome. Now I can just Deluge my way out of here. Gotta find a win condition. Lightning Bolt, Breeding Pool, I guess. Archmage Charm to draw 2. Another Ren. Red-green Ren. Could be a Ketria Triumph in there somewhere. Yep. Play Breeding Pool tapped. And then move to my end step and untap all my shit. It might be time to grab Yorion and just shut the door. Yorion draws 3 cards, is a 4/5 on this empty board against a Hellbent opponent. They've had enough. Okay, that was actually kind of scary. I was worried for the first probably 2/3 of that game, and then we very quickly turned the corner on them. Things that I want in my deck. Probably Endurance, just more material on the board that can challenge their clock. Could also mess with Tarmogoyfs, I guess. Beat up Planeswalkers. Deny Ren triggers. Nexus of Fate remains a weird card in the deck. Growth Spiral, very important here. All of my bolts and heats important. Deluge, best card. I think I can shave a Wilderness Wreck. Counterspell's not great against Jund because they have Bloodbraid Elf and shit. Though on the draw against Liliana, it's pretty good. But trying to interact with Jund via counterspells when they have so much discard is frequently an error. I want some number of them in the deck, but mostly I want to play to the board. This is what I'm going to try to do. Maybe Explosives is good too, because it can pick off Rens or Lilianas that I'm behind against. I already clicked OK. It's too late, but if there's a game 3, I'll probably bring in Engineered Explosives. Tarmogoyf's probably an issue for my deck. This one is risky, but I'm going to keep it. I'm on the draw with a cantrip. If they do have Inquisition, do they take Abundant Growth or do they take a card they care about specifically? Okay, now they can't take Abundant Growth, though I hope to find a land, because Abundant Growthing, the land that already taps for all my colors, is not ideal. Brennan 6. Just down and dirty. No card advantage, but lots of loyalty. Oh, they didn't activate it. What the fuck? Please draw land, please draw land, please draw land. Oh my god. They just... Ugh, okay. I'm just gonna count that one as a W. I was about to say, Brennan 6 in development, I have heard from people who are on the Play Design team. Renin 6 had 2 loyalty last time Play Design saw that card, and the 3rd loyalty was added somewhere later down the pipeline, which means that it doesn't die to bolt. But if you decide not to activate it arbitrarily, it still dies to bolt. Fulminator Mage, that's scary. Glad I didn't have to Abundant Growth my Ketria Triumph. Let's draw some more lands. Yeah, easy money. I am going to Abundant Growth the Triumph to spread the love around. Maybe I should just leave it on the basic, because there's really not anything else. Yeah, that should have been on the basic. I was just thinking, like, why not spread it around? But the reason why not is because they just showed us Fulminator Mage, and Yorion is in my deck somewhere. Seasoned Pyromancer. Discarding Croxa, not bad. Glad I brought in Endurance. Land? Not a land. I'm going to Omen of the Seas, looking for land. Okay, bottom Growth Spiral. Top Scalding Tarn. Play the land. We're almost there. If I can find a land off the top right now, slam Wilderness Wreck, then we start doing stuff. Croxa is 2 cards away from escaping. Okay, that will put 2 cards in the graveyard, but they don't have the mana to escape this turn. It gives me a turn to figure out what I'm going to do about this Croxa. Namely, draw Endurance, probably. Guess I should probably bolt one of these Seasoned Pyromancers this turn, or the one that's going to attack me. Inquisition. Bolt and Unholy Heat are the same thing. They both kill Seasoned Pyromancers, so I'm not going to respond to this. Maybe they take neither. Maybe they just take Archmage Charm, because that answers Croxa next turn. Yep. I'm going to have to fetch a red source, but I'm taking 2 damage from Young Pyromancer if I don't, and I'm taking 2 damage from my fetch land if I do, so it's free. I'm going to get Steam Vents, because that's also a blue source for Archmage's Charm, and all those other cards that I play. Alright, deck. Land off the top. Oh, I play so many lands. Put them into play. They are operating with perfect information about my hand right now, but that doesn't really matter. I boarded down on counterspells to play to the board, and that's what is happening right now. Every card in my hand is an instant. There's the Croxa. I'm going to Deluge in response. Maybe I should have Deluged first, because if I hit Endurance, I can just remove Croxa. I don't know. Deluge in response. Finding land Unholy Heat. The land does give me Death Touch on my Coatl. But is that something I want to play to? Instants and lands are the card types in my graveyard. Yeah, I think I'm just going to grab the 2 lands and leave Unholy Heat in my deck. I'm going to discard the Wooded Foothills, and then I'm going to use Prismatic Vista to get Death Touch. Definitely behind here. I go to 8. If I sack my Omen of the Seas, that's 3 card types. Okay, there is a line here. I'm going to fetch for basic Forest, and then cast my Coatl, and then cast my other Coatl. All of those things with this free bonus mana. And Lightning Bolt, Old Pyromancer. And then if they attack 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, not close to Deluge. If they attack without killing my Coatls, I can just block and trade with my Death Touch. If they kill Coatl, that puts a 3rd card type, and then I can sack Omen to get a 4th, and then Unholy Heat the Croxa. That makes things worse. Well, Can't get anything dead in the meantime, so I guess I'm just targeting elemental token. They can put me, they're gonna put me to 4 with this attack, because I have to discard the Misty, take 3 from Croxa. If they can kill my Coatls, I just lose outright. I'm definitely scrying with Omen in the end step. I don't have the luxury of doing anything else here. Okay, I'm gonna block. I could double block to make sure Croxa dies. Like if they just have a single fatal push here, they get to save Croxa. But if they don't, then I lose 2 things for no reason. Oh, maybe I'm supposed to double block. Oh, is this Kolagon's command? That's scary. Yeah, willing to believe I done messed this up. Now they have Croxa. Okay. That's my favorite thing I do on the channel, which is identify the correct line and then do something different. Cry 2, Abundant Growth, Omen. I do want Omen because that sees more cards. I don't want Growth because that's just a cantrip, which is the same as not drawing it and just getting a better card. There is a Deluge in my graveyard that I can do some end step tricks to try to cast. It's too late for Ren. 1, 2, 3, 4. I am going to keep this just for the extra mana to try to make something happen in the end step with Deluge. End step. 1, 2, 3, 4. Untap. 5, 6, 7. Deluge. Found Unholy Heat. Good. That is exactly what I was looking for. And Growth Spiral is just a card I can cast. Okay. Maybe could have just played around Endurance or something here. But if they spend their mana pre-combat, then they can't redeploy a Croxa. Oh shit, Bloodbraid Elf. Among the best cards that they could ever have. They hit Assassin's Trophy. Okay, what do you go for with that? My Coatl. Okay, so... oh, they have Boil in their deck. Oh, that's good to know. Maybe I need my counter spells in here after all. Okay, Assassin's Trophy resolves. Yes, I'd like to use the ability quite a bit. Got this island. And then I can Growth Spiral, green, blue, Omen. Okay. I'm going to be at 1. And I have to act before combat because the Croxa trigger is lethal, whether it connects or not. Okay, 1 life, and they still have Croxa in their graveyard. No sweat. This is an exciting one. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. I am 1 short of casting or wishing for and deploying Yorion. Do I scry in the upkeep? I think I have to. Alright, scry in the upkeep. Because I have to answer the graveyard and the Bloodbraid Elf, which Endurance is like the card that does that. I'll take a Deluge. 1, 2, 3, 4. Deluge, Maydaddy. Archmage Charm, and a Pain-Free Land. There aren't many of those, so I'm glad I found one. In the end step, Float Blue, untap, green, Omen, Unholy Heat, Lightning Bolt. Not bad. I'm gonna top, actually. And I'm gonna take out Bloodbraid Elf now. I can counter Croxa or Old Pyromancer. I know they have Old PZ in hand. Hopefully they just go for Croxa. Oh no, they had everything. If they have land Croxa, they win. The way that I don't lose to this is if Endurance is my second card down. Alright, I'm just going to draw cards in response. I know one of them's Unholy Heat. Second card down, Endurance. Let's go. Counter spell. I will counter that spell. And K command is lethal. I don't think they'd have Collective Brutality, but that's lethal. Lightning Bolt. Land for Croxa. It's a bad scene here. I can Yorion next turn if I get a next turn. Uh-oh, my opponent just lost connection to the game. There's more tension added. They're thought seizing me now. 1 card in their hand is Old Pyromancer. Is the other one Lightning Bolt? Oh, Tarmogoyf, sure. Okay, now I have to answer a Tarmogoyf and a Croxa. Endurance is still my best candidate to do that. I'm going to play Castle Vantress. I think going for Yorion does the most here. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yorion just straight up draws 3 cards. And then I can also Deluge. Like, Endurance is really just the cat's pajamas here. In my end step, many things will happen. Starting with these. I think I want to Omen first, because then the Scry increases the quality of cards I'm going to draw. So bottom both of those. Draw, 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 float blue, untap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can Deluge with 3 mana left over. Or I can play Coatl. Yeah, I think I'm just playing Coatl. Because this answers Tarmogoyf. I can Archmage's Charm the Kroxa. We know their hand is Old Pyromancer. I can Deluge next turn. They shocked in a Shockland here. I guess that's Old Pyromancer, and then they get to draw a card, is the play. They end up with 3 cards in hand instead of just 2. Maybe I'm supposed to counter that? That is a lot of cards in their hand. I don't know. Like, that Kroxas just has me shook. And the possibility of Kroxas just from their hand are also lethal. Oh, wait, that's not true. I have stuff to discard now, so that is an insulation against Kroxa that I wasn't consciously considering, just literally just having my cards in hand. Okay, I think I'm safe to Deluge in this end step. So they don't have red mana up. Show me the money. Okay, there's Endurance. There's another Deluge. I think that's better than Archmage Charm. And then draw. Are we doing it? I hope we're doing it. We're definitely close to doing it. Abundant Growth here. Ketria Triumph. Cool, I can cycle that. I won't miss it. 1 bit. Cycle you. Then Deluge. Deluge. Growth Spiral. Or Shark Typhoon Omen. Yeah, Shark Typhoon Omen, I think, is what I want here. And I can Omen right now with all this mana. Don't think I want these spirals. Can I attack? No, not yet. It's close, though. Okay, here's this. And I'm going to Endurance right now while they can't activate their other Seasoned Pyromancer or cast Kolaghan's Command or like any such nonsense. Get rid of your graveyard, please. Okay, still at 1. Not great. They get to draw a card here. They have 4 cards in hand. I'm really not worried about their board. They have Lightning Bolt, Kroxa, and Kolaghan's Command that could kill me from hand. Thoughtseize. I think I just let them resolve this. Because if they take Charm, I have the opportunity to Deluge into a different answer. If they take Deluge, then I have Charm up just naturally. And if their hand doesn't really follow up here, Shark Typhoon might be lethal because they go to 9. And I have 5 flying attackers. Yeah, they took the Shark Typhoon. They're on defense right now. Liliana of the Veil. I don't care about that. My hand is full of shitters if they want a plus ever, and I can just lose Endurance if they minus. Because Coatl is better than Endurance right now. Coatl plus Yorion check their entire board. Endurance doesn't actually interact with Tarmogoyf. Okay, I can Deluge in the end step, leaving up Archmage Charm in case their last card in hand is Lightning Bolt, which I don't think it is based on how they've played. Shark Typhoon Counterspell, let's fucking go. Another Coatl. Gonna Deluge from the graveyard. Shark Typhoon, Endurance. I'm actually gonna take Reflecting Pool. Another Pain-Free land is a welcome sight here. I'm gonna attack with Yorion, because I have the board under control, I believe. I'm gonna go to my end step, trigger, blue, green, blue, green, untap. Oh, I just floated mana in a way that doesn't cast Archmage Charm. It did cast Counterspell, though, so that was fine. They're fetching to 4. Back up Coatl. I have 2 mana floating. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright. Counterspell, Archmage Charm. counterspell. I can go up to 4/4 on this Shark Typhoon and still have triple counterspell or double counterspell up. I'm actually holding up triple counterspell, but I only have 2. I counted like I'm gonna draw one. They have 2 cards in their hand and I have 2 counterspells. They don't have enough to cast and escape Kroxa. I can also just discard one of these Shark Typhoons if they have Kroxa, so I don't care about that. They're dead to 2 different flying attackers. I could make another one in the end step if I think that's important, but I don't. Okay, there's Kroxa. Discard Shark Typhoon. Okay, they just realized that with my 7 cards in hand, they didn't even wait for the discard. They know they're dead. Woo, that was a grind fest, but we did it. Trusty old Jund falling to trusty old Temur. On the draw in this proper Pokemon battle where my opponent is Laris and I'm Yorion. I'm keeping this hand. It's got lands and spells in it. Looks like they are Hammer Time. Ice Fang Coatl interacts appropriately with Esper Sentinel. It can trade with it on turn 2 and they don't get a card. Card is Aid. Awesome. We're just getting fucking hammered immediately. God, this deck is so insane. I'm going to represent Lightning Bolt though, as long as I can. They just don't even care. They're like, yeah, fuck your Lightning Bolt. Take 11. Okay. This doesn't trample, right? No, just +10/+10, and this thing doesn't trample. So I can buy a little bit of time with my Coatl. It's not going to have Death Touch in time to matter. I can jump for a turn with Coatl and then steal the thing with Charm the following turn. Guess that's the plan. Disrespectful stuff. If they have the Shadow Spear in their hand, I also just die. Or I guess like removal of any kind. Okay, block. Inkmoth Nexus, Bauble, okay. Alright, I can fetch basic, steal Esper Sentinel. They still control the hammer, but that doesn't matter if they can't do anything with it. I'm gonna fetch to make sure I don't get punked by Pithing Needle. My island in. I'm sure they're thinking about Archmage Charm. That's like the whole thing that their deck should be worried about, right? Second hammer. They have a 15/15 and an 11/11. Activating Stinkmoth Nexus. Right, if they have another hammer in their hand... Okay, so I have to cast this in the beginning of combat. What do I want to steal? If I steal Construct, then that actually can block Esper Sentinel, because it'll be an 11/11 and so will that, but this will just be an 11/11 versus a 15/15. Yeah, so I'll steal Construct. They get to draw a card. Obviously, I don't have 11 mana to pay. I'm insulted that they'd even ask. I get that. Okay, cool. They're just chipping in with that one. That doesn't mean they don't have the additional... Oh god, they have the third hammer! I quit Magic. This is the last video I'll be recording. Alright, fine. On the draw against Hammer Time, where they had Zygarde's Aid into triple hammer, sure. You're gonna lose those ones. And game 1, or turn 2, where they just like slammed into red mana. Like that, if I had Unholy Heat or Lightning Bolt, I win the game on the spot. But obviously I didn't. It's fine. Ancient Grudge and Engineered Explosives coming in. Nexus of Fate once again leaving the deck. Ren's probably good. Coatl's good. Charm's good. Do I have time to Deluge? Do I have time to Counterspell? In Archmage Charm, I guess on the draw, or on the play, Counterspell actually does counterspells. I think Wilderness Wreck, not as necessary as some other times. Deluge, like you do need to be able to pull ahead once you're stable, but that is kind of slow. Growth Spiral might be too slow for this matchup as well. Maybe that's what I should be cutting over Deluge. Yeah, if I just hit land drops, play on curve, I'm not really going to have 2 mana sitting around to growth with in this matchup. Yeah, this is how I'm going to do this. Okay, this hand is very good. I'm going to keep it. I have lots of answers to shit. Ancient Grudge, 2 for 1 all day. Just Vindicate, Revindicate. Ren and 6 can ping most of the things they would play on turn 1, and I have it on turn 2. Engineered Explosives, mopping up the Zygarde's Aid, the hammers, and anything that could carry them. I'm going to lead on Scalding Tarn because Misty Rainforest gets both my basics, and I'm fetching Ketria Triome here. They have a Marsh Flats to get us started. A little Thoughtseize. Okay, sure. My whole hand is good. Enjoy. They took a Wren. That makes some sense. Bobble. I'm not going to fetch if they don't bobble. That'll show them. Okay. I can play Forest here. That doesn't represent Counterspell. Alright, I gave them something for free there. What a weird little game of cat and mouse that was around the Mistress Bobble. Like, it's correct to just fetch. And for them, it's correct to just bobble, probably. I don't know. Or maybe they're just building up big constructs. There's their Ingenious Smith. Notably not an artifact. There's Memnite. Notably an artifact. Okay. It's in play now. What a twist. I am going to fetch now. They can bobble me. They can get information. I do need my good mana at this point. Okay, I'm bobbled. You know my secrets. My secret is another Misty Rainforest. I think I have to leave up Ancient Grudge so I don't get hammered. Though I really want to just put Yorion in my hand. They would have to go Aid, Hammer. Even that's not lethal. Whatever, I'm putting Yorion in my hand. Invest in your futures, kids. Shields are down. The only card they don't know about in my hand is the Castle Vantress. It looks like I got away with it. I'm just getting in for 3. I wasn't going to Ancient Grudge a 1/1 Memnite anyway. They do have the land. Go into Construct mode. I'll run out my castle and play Wilderness Wreck. Gotta invest in this at some point. I'm going to Explosives for 0. That'll get the Memnite and any constructs that come out of this saga. And I can Explosives for 0 and Counterspell. Counterspell is the only card in my hand they don't know about, and it's a good one for them to not know about. Okay, all of these things do grow the Smith pretty tight. See if they activate their saga. Sure, they probably won't. Seems like a waste. The Smith is becoming a problem, though. Alright, I'm going to bust this now before they can Pithing Needle. They did retrieve a hammer. I can counter a Pure Steel Paladin if they have that. This 4/4 is a problem, though. They also don't have Metalcraft right now, but I'm not going to make that a reason not to counter Pure Steel Paladin. This deck is never far off from Metalcraft. Stoneforge Mystic. Do I care? No. That'll just get things that can get Ancient Grudged. A little worried about this 4/4. When it becomes a 5/5, I'm suddenly in a lot of trouble to it. I could Grudge now to spend my mana. I don't think I want to do that, though. On Unholy Heat. Ooh, I drew Unholy Heat. That's lucky. Okay, I can now remove the Ingenious Smith as necessary. Because I don't have an instant in my graveyard yet. I can Ancient Grudge, gives me 4 card types, Unholy Heat. I do need a red mana to do that, though, which means I have to fetch Shock down to 8. I think that's fine. Worth the investment. Okay, I'm at 8. And I'm going to put my big monster into play. Do not exile any of my permanents. The only permanent that I want to exile, or that I have to exile, I kind of need in play at the beginning of my end step. Okay, so I can counterspell Ancient Grudge and Unholy Heat. This thing can get up to a 5/5 this turn. What a twist. I'm not going to counter that. Okay, Ancient Grudge. Do I Ancient Grudge Hammer or Memnite? Probably Hammer. Red, green, destroy Hammer. 4 card types lets me Unholy Heat, and I'm holding up Counterspell. I don't think there was a way to tap where I can hold up Counterspell and the back end of Ancient Grudge, because I needed both red, and the green doesn't cast Counterspell. Yeah. Not enough dual lands in play to do all of that. You're still Pally. Nope. Not on my watch. The coast is now clear for Luris. I'm going to scry in my upkeep. I get the mana in my end step. My deck is mostly instants. Bottom, top. I'll take a Coatl. It's like anything that's 2 cards I'm pretty into right now. think I have to start winning the game. Coattl's a blocker. Ancient Grudge is also defense. They're at 10. They can Stoneforge and Hammer right now, but I don't think I care about that because I have the Grudge in the graveyard. I can block Inkmoth Nexus with Coatl. They'll have a green up. If they spend a turn wishing for Luris at any point, that's 4 extra damage they're going to take. I'm going to cast Coatl and then decide if I want to block, because I have them on a 2-turn clock with Coatl. Ooh. I'm going to block Memnite, yeah. Let's just trade off. Because I can cycle Shark Typhoon, get another power into play, then they're on a 2-turn clock, they have to beat Ancient Grudge. Ornithopter, okay. That's pretty good. Weirdly, the perfect card. Their hand is Hammer Luris right now. Oh, Shadow Spear. Okay, their hand is Hammer Luris now. Okay. Got it. I think I want to cycle the Shark Typhoon now. I just want more cards. I want more options. There's a way to play this where I like go to my end step, make a giant shark, and bet they can't beat it. Not sure I'm about that life, though. I am about this cycling Ketria Triumph life, though. The Reflecting Pool. Their hand is Luris. There's no Sigarda's Aid. I'm attacking for 4. Let's keep the beats coming. Okay. Blue, blue, blue. Untap my shit. Blue. Scry 2. I have Ancient Grudge in the graveyard. Memory Deluge. Basically the best card in my deck. Right on top. Let's go. Let's survive this turn. If I survive this turn, I can Ancient Grudge, Ornithopter, and Crunch for 5. I'll probably have to Ancient Grudge Shadow Spear this turn, though. I might have messed that up. Ooh, if they spend all their mana this turn, they're going to take 1 from Silent Clearing, which means Yorion is lethal. All my bolts are still in the deck, too. I haven't cast any, obviously didn't board any out. Equip Shadow Spear to Memnite, okay. I'm going to destroy... Is it Memnite or Shadow Spear? I think I'm more worried about Shadow Spear than Memnite. I could also just trade with Memnite once Shadow Spear is gone. This may have been a master plan to just, like, jam Luris and have a 0 in the graveyard immediately, but they already had 0s in the graveyard, so that doesn't matter. Okay, Memory Deluge. It's your time to shine. 1, 2, 3, 4. Deluge. Please find spells. Okay, Lightning Bolt and Archmage Charm are both good spells. And my land for the turn. I can just win here. In control of Ornithopter. This might be greedy, but I'm going for it. Steal Ornithopter, attack for 4, bolt them. Once my land's untapped. Hope they don't have Path to Exile. But I know 2 of the 3 cards in their hand. Alright, I think I want to actually hold on to the bolt. See what they do. Oh, fuck it, just bolt them. I'll just get it over with. I think if this was like the Pro Tour, I would not bolt here. I think I would, like, if it was game 3, maybe. But I'm trying to think if this matters. Like, just get the game done versus, like, you're dead on board, make you answer it, deluge again, and I can bolt at will anyway. Like, I maybe in the modern card pool, it's fine. In Legacy, I probably wouldn't bolt there, or against a blue deck where Force Negation's the thing they might have. Yeah, there's contexts where you don't bolt there, but I don't think that was one of them. Are any of these cards better than Growth Spiral? Like, is just like Fun of Endurance, just as a flash body, relevant? It might be. If the games get scrappy, plus they do have Luris, and I really don't think Growth Spiral is something I have time to do, especially on the draw. Wreck was really good, though. Obviously, I mean, that's the name of the deck. I don't think I want more than 1. Like, you want to draw exactly 1 in a game, and you want to be mostly stable when you do it. Okay, yeah, I'm just making that switch. Totally off Growth Spiral, 1 Endurance, hanging out. I'm going to keep this hand. On the draw against Hammer, things are always a little scary, but Ancient Grudge, one of the best cards that there is against a strategy like this. Brennan 6 is present. We got plays to make. And like we saw last game, if they take a turn thought seizing me, even if they do something cool, they still spent a turn thought seizing instead of killing me. Okay, here's the thought seize. Probably takes Ren again. Ancient Grudge, largely thought seize proof. Oh, they took the Grudge. Oh, do they have Extraction? Or do they just... are they betting that they can pound through that? They said oops. Okay. Either they did just brain fart and click the wrong thing, or they are on some master level. Smith. Okay. Memnite. Wow, that buffs the Smith immediately. Gets it out of Ren range. Busted. Okay, I need to find an answer to the stuff that's going on right now. I don't think I Ren. I think I need to hold up Grudge, make sure I don't die, and I can see if they don't do anything. Or Omen of the Sea. Like we saw last game, Ingenious Smith is very close to unremovable at certain points. Like once it gets out of bolt range, then it's... Oh god. Well, I could lose to this. I can take them off Metalcraft at instant speed, at least. Yeah, I'm not gonna... Wait. Whenever an equipment enters the battlefield under control, you may draw a card, and you may equip as though it costs 0. Yeah, there's nothing that gives anything flash here, so I don't know why Ornithopter's attacking. Yeah, there's no Zygarde's Aid in play. Oh, there it is. Better late than never. Okay. I am going to Omen of the Sea in the end step, which I wish I thought about more because I don't really want to get Basic Forest on this board where Archmage Charm might be relevant. Really looking for a removal spell here. Either of those are what I want. There's the Moto Bug. You bottom a Shark Typhoon, draw a Shark Typhoon. Guaranteed. Every time. I think I have to Ren and 6 to kill Memnite here and just try to lower them off Metalcraft. Does that even matter? Does that matter at all? I'm not convinced that it does. I could Coatl, but all of this requires... Oh, Coatl can play on... Okay. Coatl can play on basic lands. Alright, now I'm on Coatl job. I'm going to fetch a basic island, cast Coatl. Okay, I'm going to Coatl first. Basic island. The Ancient Grudge is still in my graveyard that I can cast. Deciding when and if that's necessary to do. Okay. I'm going to wait on the Grudge. They get to draw an extra card if I have to Grudge this turn, but at least I won't die. They have one card left in their hand. I'm not going to block any attacks this turn. Yeah, not blocking any attacks. Because next turn this will have Death Touch, which could change game considerably. They get to equip. I'm going to smash the hammer and just hope they don't draw another one, I guess. Unfortunately, they get to draw 2 cards here. One for the hammer and one for the Sentinel. They were equipping it to Pure Steel Paladin, by the way, not an artifact creature that I could otherwise smash. Okay, please don't draw a redundant hammer. There's only 4 in your deck. Okay, looks like we survived that, at least. Found Saga, so hammer's 2 turns away. Options now include Ren and 6, pay the Troll Toll, ping Esper Sentinel, or just land Cycle Shark Typhoon, or Wilderness Wreck, ignore Esper Sentinel, which I think is a huge mistake. Okay, I'm going to play Scalding Tarn and pass. I think I'm dead to a hammer no matter what, so I might as well just play like they're not going to have it. Get to draw the extra card here. And they draw for turn. If none of those cards are hammer, life is okay. If any of those cards are hammer, we lose. Shadow Spear. Can I beat Shadow Spear? It's also tough, but maybe. Fuck! Okay, now I lose. And this deck's efficient. I'm not complaining. It did exactly what it was supposed to do. Pure Steel Paladin, draw a card. Esper Sentinel, draw a card. Like, I lose now. I can't block enough creatures to make removal good. Like, and basically the problem this game is I didn't draw... They actually won that game because they thought seized Ancient Grudge. Like, they said oops, but I don't think it was a mistake. Like, that was a removal spell. I never even cast the Ren and 6, which is the other card they might take. And I needed a spot removal spell. Like, if I can block something with Death Touch this turn, pick off the hammer, pay the Troll Toll, I take 1, 2, 3, 4. I take 4 damage. I'm at 6, and their board is basically like 2 sagas that I have to answer moving forward. Like that They're still ahead. Yeah, I thought seizing Ancient Grudge was the line. And I just didn't find another red spell in time. I'm on the draw in the final round, playing for the positive record, keeping my hand that has lands and spells in it. Oh god. Oh. That's not the goblin I was expecting. I'm gonna play Catria Triome and pass the turn. Oh. That really makes my Icefang Coatl look bad. That's okay. I mean, it's still good. It kills a creature and absorbs 1 damage. It's the same thing. Okay, I'm gonna fetch a basic island this turn, Coatl during combat, after Frenzy Trigger has already resolved. Oh, they're whacking it over there. That's what's going on. Okay, so I'm gonna let Frenzy's Goblins trigger resolve. It's already too late to name a target, but just want to make sure it's off the stack entirely. This Coatl will absorb 2 damage and remove a creature. I guess there's a chance they bolt it, but they have Mog Fanatic in play. See where this ends up going. Okay, it did get the Fanatic. I'll take it. Options include Abundant Growth, another Coatl, Archmage Charm, Steel Frenzied Goblin. I think I like that. I'll just see what they're going to do on their main phase, and then I can steal Frenzied Goblin before combat. That's the best goblin they currently have in play, is the reason I'm naming that one specifically. Okay, they are just moving to combat. I'm still going to commit to the Archmage Charm here. Or no, this could be a good time to Shark Typhoon. Yeah, because if I can get the board stable without spending my Charm, then it might be better as a counterspell than as a Mind Control. No, I'm going to Mind Control now. Alright. I finally made a decision. Because next turn I can Coatl with Counterspell Protection, which shuts down a lot of things they might want to do. And if I get the Goblin, then they can't attack this turn. It's a 2-for-1 there. If they bolt, it's a 2-for-1 there. Okay, they're just committed to attacking. I guess the deck doesn't do anything else. But that is a lot of material off the board for the next whacker. It looks like they don't have much going on. I can cycle Typhoon for 2, or I can Coatl with Death Touch and back it up with Counterspell. Ooh, okay. Goblins get +1/+0 and haste. Attack tactics. Whenever you attack with total 6 or more combat, 6 or more power, you get a 1/1. So Denizen will trigger, making it a 2/1. This counts itself, so they do actually have 6 power to operate with. I'm going to counter this. I have respect for that card. I've lost to it enough in Limited. And I am going to put my Coatl in front of this. Between the Bushwhackers, the Battlecry Goblin, all of this stuff, it's clear their deck relies heavily on having material in play. Lightning Bolt's a good card. Okay, I can make this easier on my mana. I'm gonna Abundant Growth here, land, Abundant Growth here. Do I even rend this turn? No, I don't. Not now that I've drawn Coatl. I'm not sure how we lose the game on this stable board at 12 life at this point, but I mean, it's possible. I'm gonna put Coatl out there. They can Mog Fanatic it if they want. It's still a 2-for-1. Another Bolt. Getting ugly. I guess I probably should have Ren and Plussed rather than playing the land, but it doesn't ultimately matter, I don't think. It just gave away a little bit of information. If they do anything this turn, I have Bolts to just murder their whole board. If they don't do anything this turn, I can Deluge. This is my last basic land I'm fetching, so Ren should not rebuy the Vista. Deluge. Counterspell and Shark Typhoon, please. Breeding Pool. Okay, I'm not going to fetch Shock, so I'm just going to grab a Triome here in my main phase. I guess I didn't need to do that, because Ren minusing is better than Ren plussing on this board, especially with a land drop locked up. They're paying the Echo. It's a sign of desperation. My life total is steadily decreasing, though, which is worth taking a note of. Even if their hand is 3 Lightning Bolts, that's only 9 damage, and they only have 2 mana, so I'm going to tap out to make my biggest possible shark here. beating them is how this game is going to end, which might sound like a foolish thing to say, but like doing damage, I mean, you can't control any deck forever. I'm just going to get this Mog Fanatic out of play. Even if they ping me or my Coatl or whatever, it's just one less goblin that's going to be around. And one, oh no, I actually can Yorion this turn. I just don't think I want to. Yeah, I have exactly enough to Yorion, but without the Wreck in play, it's risky. If they attack, I think I'll make a 4/4 Shark to block. That leaves up Counterspell, and the clock, it's still the same clock. Like, I can't get 16 damage on the board. I can't get 8 damage on the board, though. And there's the Wreck. Okay. It's nice that we get this hardy flex in the final round. Ren will kill a third creature. Another pain-free land here. Attack for 8. Oh, with the bolts, I probably could have killed them. Yeah, I forgot about that. And then Wreck. And moved my end step with the trigger on the stack. I'm going to float all the mana rather than scry in response, because getting burned out is the only way I lose this game. Or 1, 2. I'm not going to scry. I'm going to deluge. I should have spent green on that instead of blue if I'm playing perfectly, because most of my instants are blue. Okay, I'm at 7. Whack. I can bolt that. They bolted me just for the surge. Bolt your creature. That was a good demonstration of Wrenn and 6. We've seen it as hit all your land drops for the whole game a couple times in this league. We haven't seen it as Prodigal Sorcerer yet, which was real good this league. I want Endurance as a body in play. I want Engineered Explosives as kill all your ones. Nexus of Fate, see you later. Yeah, that card has not been good. And I think this is a matchup where Growth Spiral, like the boarding plan is comparable, or at least the macro plan is comparable to Hammer Time, which we just played against, where I'm not sure I'm going to have time to Growth Spiral, and just hitting my land drops and trading as we go is a good way to go. Just the details of how I'm going to do that. Like Ancient Grudge versus Endurance are a little different between the two matchups, of course. Boom. All right. Fat Bodies in. Removal in. Do it. This hand doesn't have any red cards in it. Is that disqualifying, or is it just unfortunate? I'm going to keep. Probably shouldn't. But when you win game 1, you can be a little reckless game 2. Oh, that's the goblin I expected last game. Show me Unholy Heat. Archmage's Charm. All right. Not what I'm looking for here, but okay. I'm going to play the Triome. Just get that in. Tapland's going to hurt me eventually. Might as well do it when I don't have a real spell to cast. Founder Street Denizen and Missed Land Drop. Oh yeah, they kept a 1-lander. Hope I can punish. Holding up Counterspell now. I'm taking 3 on board, so Counterspell's not even like super. I take 4 versus what? I think I need to just keep material off the board right now, because next turn I can cycle Shark Typhoon, trade with Foundry Street Denizen, even if they do buff it. And they've seen the Archmage Charm. I could just steal their Goblin Guide before combat, and then they have nothing. Yeah, that sounds good. I'm going to fetch now. So they found their land. We're in trouble now. Or Marshall, you got it. Stealing Goblin Guide is still the best use of this Archmage Charm. I don't care if Foundry Street Denizen gets +2/+0. Still going to trade with it if they attack. Oh, they love a trade. I can't imagine this trade is right. Like, this is a whole card out of play now for your Bushwhacker turn. I don't know. I'm not an expert on whacking, but it didn't seem good to me. I'm sure they're not going to pay the Echo this turn. Legion Loyalist. Ooh. This gives all your creatures first strike and can't be blocked by tokens and trample. That's strong. Do I want to try to cantrip into a counterspell for that? Probably. Oh, if I was doing that, I probably should have done Omen instead. Whoops. Okay. Let's hope this 3 damage isn't everything. Okay, they had Fanatic. also. All right, they didn't need to Fnatic that, and I'm glad they didn't, because I couldn't really block. Oh, this has Summoning Sickness. I could block. Yeah, I blew it. I should have let on Omen of the Sea for a variety of reasons. How about a red card, maybe? Show me a red card. Any one. Bottom. I'm not mad about Endurance, though. Not mad about Hinterland Harbor, either. Pain-free lands are real nice to come up with. I guess I'm going to Omen anyway, so I might as well do it now, see if I find a red card. Okay. Top. Now I have Unholy Heat if I want that. So that's just good to have around. Like, Lightning Bolt does kill my Endurance for free here because the creatures have first strike. I'm still doing it. Get in there, Endurance. I'm going to target them. I don't know if they use their graveyard, but let's make sure that they don't. Block the Loyalist, because Loyalist turns off Shark Typhoon. Yeah, they had the Bolt. Okay. And Frenzied Goblin. Okay. They are working into a frenzy. I am going to Abundant Growth my Wooded Foothills because I don't want to fetch this game. It hurts too bad. Go down to 2 cards. Beginning of combat, I'm going to kill the Legion Loyalist. That one's also too good. And I'm going to Endurance again. I'm not going to Shark Typhoon because they could just bolt and remove Shark Typhoon token before blocks. But Endurance, they'll have to take the 2-for-1. Another giant ass in your face. Block the thing that I can't block again if I don't block. I'm at 6. If they have double bolt. Oh, Battlecry Goblin. Okay. Got to cantrip into some red cards. Alright, there's a red card. Whew. Now my tune changes. Yeah, I should bolt this now because it can buff even if it... Like, it can leave some power and toughness on the other goblins even if it doesn't get to attack. I can make a 3/3 shark. And is in, don't care. Now they can't double bolt me. Okay, so they are surging a wacko. A 1/1 shark versus a 3/3 shark. What's the difference on this board? Not much. So I can Omen of the Sea and see if I find a cleaner answer to Bushwhacker. But I don't need Abundant Growth. I will take this Engineered Explosives. And then they can whack. I'm going to go to 2 and then be on a stable board. Rough. Okay, cycle for a 1/1 shark. I'm going to block Denizen and Whacker. I go to 2. And then my explosives can answer all their tokens, but I am currently without a counterspell. So I am gonna chill and hope they don't top deck Lightning Bolt. No attack. Alright, they played their land. I think they should have bluffed something there. Gotta be really careful not to misclick and sack that fetch land when I want to tap it for mana. Deluge, okay. Archmage Charm, okay, alright. Now we're good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I can Deluge and pop Engineered Explosives and cast Archmage Charm. Wait, maybe I miscounted by 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. No, I can't. I'm 1 short of doing all of that. Now I don't even want to pop my explosives because my 5/5 is better than their 3/1/1s. At least right now it is. Deluge. Coatl and Reflecting Pool. Counterspell, hell yeah. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm 1 mana short of blinking Yorion and having a mana up, so I'm not gonna make my move now. Okay, attack for 5 again. This is gonna have to be the explosives turn, because I'm dead if I don't. So could have put Yorion in hand. I'm just bleeding value left and right, focusing on my life total. Oh, wow, they sacked their War Marshal when they're Hellbent versus an Engineered Explosives. That's a turn I would have paid for a War Marshal. Wow, still not popping. Coatl. Draw. And Deluge. Oh god. I love Memory Deluge. I'm gonna get just 2 Archmage Charms. As much as I love to deluge, the game's not going to go that long. Do I even play a fetch land? Am I going to crack it and go to 1? Is that a line I'm ever going to take in my life? Okay, attack for 5. And is it time to put Yorion in hand? I have 1, 2, 3. I can fetch another basic. Is 1 much different than 2? I'll at least give myself the option and play out the fetch land. And 1, 2, 3. Yorion in hand. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Yeah, I can still pop explosives, counterspell, and Archmage Charm. They drew a whacker. This actually is lethal if I don't counter it, so even without Surge, because the Frenzied Goblin can make one of my creatures unable to block. And then, oh, I guess it would go to 1 if I didn't counter that. Endurance is going to forget how to block, but Coatl remembers. And time to explode. Splat. I lose my shark, they lose everything. And not going to crack my fetch land. Oh, you drew run in 6. That was not the 2 damage I was looking for. It's just 1. But I think it'll do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, they're empty. I'm just gonna draw 1,000 cards. Untap my endurance. In my end step, I'm leaving just maximum mana up. I get to move my abundant growth onto a different land. Let's see if I can pick up a lightning bolt in this Scry 1000. Okay. I'm not gonna make them sit through all this. Zap. Okay. A 3 and 2 performance for Temur Reclamation in Modern. The matches I lost were against aggressive decks that made me dead before I could get set up. The Is It Delver and the, or is it whatever it's called? Is it Rag? Is it Murktide? It doesn't actually play Delver. The Is It Tempo deck and Hammer Time both got under me before I was set up. Both of them came down to a single red card in hand was the difference. Like I lost the games I couldn't answer Rag on turn 1, and I lost the game, and I won the game easily where I could. And then against Hammer Time, it really did come down to, can I remove 1 more creature or not? And I couldn't. So maybe the deck wants another removal spell. This Nexus of Fate never came up once and got ported out all the fucking time. This isn't really a plan. It's just a random card in your deck. Unless there are realities, like maybe in Blue Mirrors, you might actually get down to 1 card left in your deck and it's Nexus of Fate and you take all the turns, or at least few enough cards that you can Castle Vantress and find Nexus every turn. That seems insane though. Like I don't know how often that's going to come up compared to just dying to an aggressive deck. I would probably want another removal spell in here. I don't know what the next best one is after Lightning Bolt and Unholy Heat, but we could figure it out with a little bit of work. This is obviously insanely powerful. It's a deck that ruined Standard. Cards, people wanted cards banned out of it. It was the entire metagame at that Pro Tour for the most part. And Memory Deluge, huge upgrade from the newest set. Innistrad, Midnight Hunt, Archmage Charm printed straight into Modern Standard, and didn't have this one. Unholy Heat, same story. But Shark Typhoon, Omen of the Sea, those cards did coexist with Wilderness Wreck, Castle Vantress, getting the gang back together. This deck feels really good. It's just full of good cards, and I'm not sure if it's like better than the more stock control decks like Blue-White and such, or like the Omnath decks, but it is certainly different and has a different sort of play pattern, and it was a lot of fun to try it. So thank you, Foxicon, for giving me this opportunity to play this cool deck. Everyone else, thank you all for watching. Remember to like and subscribe the video and the channel. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Check out the merch store, which is a thing that is directly attached to YouTube. Since I passed the 10,000 subscriber mark, I got to integrate my merch store. So there's a store button at the top of my channel. Check that out if you want some BoshNRoll merch. And thank you all for watching, as always, and I'll see you next time.